In my experience, most of our work is done with senior managers in organisations, and I would say the most critical part of their role is in fact preparing in some way. A large part of our experience is coming into situations with our clients when something has gone wrong, precisely because not enough time or thought has gone into thinking about what the possibilities are that could happen. And so it sounds awfully simple to say, but literally taking the time to think ahead about some of the most obvious contingency planning, to me would get most of our clients 80% of the way towards where they need to be. How can you have an organisation full of people who will consistently make good decisions and very similar decisions when sets of circumstances come up that can't be predicted? And organisations who do that very well are positioned well to deal with crisis. And a couple of the factors that go into getting an organisation full of people who can react well and quickly to unexpected circumstances are having a clear shared vision of who you are and what you do and why you do it. Having clear boundaries around that, and some of those boundaries will be legal, and some of those boundaries will be cultural or norms in terms of the way an organisation operates. And the last thing that I would say is the internal cultural element, that the way that at the Lime Group we talk about culture is the unwritten, often unspoken set of rules that say how you behave in this place. Organisations that do very well have a very strong culture that guide people, a strong culture and set of values that guide how you make decisions, what you do, particularly in tough situations. I think for a lot of years, people in business thought that culture was something that evolved that you couldn't necessarily control. You could watch what was happening to it and try and manage certain aspects of it, but in the last while, I think a lot of managers have gotten a lot more skillful about understanding how to build their culture. Again, quite often in our line of work, we find that the simplest things to say are often the hardest to do. In this case, one of the strongest ways to build a culture is the role modelling of your senior executives. What they do, what they say, and the consistency with which they do and say those things is an enormously strong leverage point for the culture of how the various areas in an organisation behaves. Layering into that, the way that the Lime Group thinks about incentive systems is there's the formal portion which say we're going to reward people and put legal boundaries around behaviours that are the formal portion of our system. There's the informal portion of an incentive system that will create behaviours, create a culture, which is about how people interact in an organisation, what sort of things you get recognised for, which things are enjoyable versus not enjoyable, and it's understanding the totality of that incentive system that's forming behaviours that's going to help you be able to shape a culture a particular way.